Welcome to study session 5, Cost-Benefit Analysis, Productivity and Efficiency. Introduction. In this study session, we will examine cost-benefit analysis and the various steps that are involved in its calculation. We will also explain productivity and its full measurement, efficiency, and its link with productivity. Additionally, we will discuss some issues connected with productivity and efficiency, especially its connection between low external productivity in the face of high internal efficiency. Lastly, we will examine the relationship between external productivity and cost-benefit ratio. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Define cost-benefit analysis. Explain the steps involved in the calculation of cost-benefit analysis. Elucidate the social aspect of the cost-benefit analysis. 2. Explain carefully the following terms: productivity, efficiency. 3. Use a table to explain some issues that are connected with productivity and efficiency. Concept of cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis is a technique or an investment decision-making tool used for describing, quantifying, and comparing the cost and benefits of investment projects in order to determine whether the projects to be invested in are worthwhile and to what extent. Steps involved in cost-benefit analysis. There are 4 steps in the process of comparing of cost and benefits of a project. The 4 steps are: identification of all the advantages, merits and disadvantages, demerits of a project to be invested in. Quantification of the identified merits and demerits, so as to place numerical value on each cost and each benefit. Monetization of the quantified merits and demerits, so as to bring all quantifiable costs and benefits to a common denominator of money. Aggregation of monetized costs and benefits using the approximate formula, which include net present value (NPV), internal rate of return (IRR), and benefits cost ratio (BCR). Social aspect of cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis has both private and social aspects. When an individual wishes to establish an industry or embark on a venture, he may want to know the cost and the benefits of such an industry or venture. The difference between the cost and the benefit is the net benefit. Note, however, if the value of the benefit is greater than the value of the cost, the investor will consider such projects viable, profitable, and worthwhile. But if the value of the benefit is the same or less than the value of the cost, the individual investor may decide not to embark on the project. This is because such project brings no profit. What really matters to the private investor is whether or not project venture is worthwhile. He is careless about what the society will gain or lose from such an investment. The Benue State government, as of January 5, 2005, decided to set up her own power generating firm, and so set aside the sourcing of power generation through National Electric Power plc. This was as a result of the inefficiency of the NEP plc. Before coming to this conclusion of private power generation, the Benue State government would have considered the benefits and cost of such projects and also discovered that the society will benefit greatly upon venturing on such power generation projects. On the whole, an investor must not only concern himself with the private net benefit of establishing an industrial outfit, he must also concern himself with the net benefit to the society. It is a social aspect of cost-benefit analysis that distinguishes it from ordinary investment appraisal method or feasibility study. Productivity. Productivity denotes the relationship between output and one or all associated input in real terms. It may be defined simply as output per unit of input. The concept of productivity is based on the notion of production function, which states that the volume of output depends on the volume of input used in production and on the state of the art or technology. The purpose of productivity measurement is to provide a yardstick of economic efficiency in different time periods for individual firm within an industry or for an industry considered as a whole. Productivity is to ensure that output is increased while inputs are kept static, or put another way, outputs are the variable and inputs are held constant. Productivity is said to increase when the same input lead to a greater output than before. So greater productivity comes not from spending more or from working harder, but from working smarter. Productivity is centrally concerned about the maximization of real output of education and training. Measurement of productivity. The following steps should be taken in order to measure productivity of a firm or an industry. Definition of all inputs and outputs. Measurement of all inputs and outputs in quantitative terms. Isolation of variation in quantity of output and inputs. Expression of inputs and outputs in real term. Combination of various real inputs and outputs into a single index. Division of output by inputs. Efficiency. In layman's terms, efficiency is the ability to produce the desired effect with minimum of effort, expense, or waste. The criterion of efficiency demands that of two alternatives having the same cost, one must be chosen which would lead to a greater attainment of the organizational objectives. It also demands that of two alternatives leading to the same degree of attainment, one is to be chosen which entails a lesser cost. On one hand, efficiency involves the maximization of output as inputs are considered as fixed, and on the other hand, the minimization of inputs if outputs are considered as fixed. It is concerned with the maintenance of a positive balance of output over input. Summarily put, efficiency is the optimal combination of input to produce a given output, producing that output at least counts. Link between productivity and efficiency. It is through maximized productivity that maximum efficiency is achieved. The higher the output per unit input, the higher the ability to produce the desired effect with minimum input and vice versa. As earlier stated, the essence of productivity measurement is to provide a yardstick of efficiency. Two ways by which productivity can be measured by an organization and therefore achieve maximum efficiency are listed below. Any given set of inputs should be utilized so as to produce the largest value of output. For a specific output and quantity level, inputs should be chosen and utilized in order to minimize production costs. Issues connected with productivity and efficiency in education. The distinction between immediate outputs and ultimate benefits of education. The distinction laid out in Table 5 must be made between immediate outputs and ultimate benefits of education in order to understand the difference between productivity and efficiency in education. Benefits of education. Criterion 1. Composition. Immediate output comprises of all that a graduate acquired in the process of being educated. For example, all the acquired learning, skills, and attitudes that students carry away from the educational system is far greater than what they brought to it initially. Ultimate benefit comprises of all that can be gained through the application of the skill, learning, and attitude required by graduates. For example, a better job, higher income, more satisfying family life, a greater sense of participation, higher production, better living standards, the supply of more efficient leaders. Criterion 2. Connotation. Immediate output connotes learning achievement or the difference between entry and exit behaviors of graduates. Ultimate benefit connotes advantages of education to both individual and the society. It concerns the relevance of the knowledge, skill, and attitude acquired while in school. Criterion 3. Measurement. Immediate output. Examination results can be used to measure the differences between what students carry away from the educational system and what they brought to it initially. The number of graduates can also be compared with the numbers who were admitted initially. The rate of dropout can therefore affect immediate output. Ultimate benefits. Both qualitative and quantitative measures of the difference education have made in the life of the graduate and in the economy. Economic measures used include lifetime earnings, increased productivity, and tax contribution resulting from the education acquired. The following hypothetical cases illustrate the point on immediate output. Looking at Table 5.2, you will find out that there exists a difference between the educational values added to the student by their exposure to the particular educational process. Mr. A's output, value added, is greater than that of Mr. B, while Mr. A's output is 30%, that of Mr. B is 20%. However, Mr. B's final result is better than Mr. A's final result. You will even see that while Mr. A scores 50%, Mr. B scores 60%. Nevertheless, while Mr. A enters the system with only 20% knowledge, skill, and attitude, Mr. B enters with 40%. The difference in entry level may be as a result of differences in family and cultural background, career aspiration, motivation, inherent ability, and so on. You can now see the reason why the learning achievement of Mr. B, 20%, is lower than that of Mr. A, 30%, despite Mr. B's better performance in the final examination. Mr. B therefore gains less than Mr. A in terms of added value to their education. Equal entry behavior but different value added. Case 2. Take another look at the table 5.3. You will notice that both C and D enter with 20% respectively, but at the end, Mr. D records higher than Mr. C. Having assumed that both C and D are equally brilliant and equally prepared while the process of teaching is not discriminatory, the difference in value added may be as a result of either dropout or repetition on the side of Mr. C. Instead of 6 years, maybe Mr. C has only spent 4 years and consequently has not been able to acquire the same knowledge, skill, and attitude which Mr. D must have repeated twice, thereby acquiring the same education more than once. Low external productivity in the face of high internal efficiency. An educational system can have high internal efficiency, yet low external productivity. This can happen when there is high learning achievement or added value, but low socio-economic impact of the knowledge and skill and attitude acquired in the education system. Maybe the educational system is producing graduates with little or no reputation or dropout, and at the same time, wrong things have been taught. The education is not relevant to either the needs of the student or that of the economy. Specialists in educational management may have been well trained, but if too few jobs are available in the field, the investment in their training is likely to produce few benefits. Thus, the relevance and fitness of what an educational system teaches its students at a particular time and place have a major bearing on the system's ultimate productivity. Relationship between external productivity and cost-benefit ratio. Cost-benefit ratio of an educational system is an indicator of the external productivity. As earlier defined, external productivity relates the cost of producing learning results in a particular period with the cumulative benefits that subsequently accrue from those learning results over a long period. Similarly, cost-benefit ratio is a relationship between the cost of producing learning results, that is output, and the cumulative benefits of education. If the accrued benefits to individual and to society substantially exceed the education cost, then that particular educational effort can be viewed as a good investment. Showing the differences between efficiency approach and productivity approach to production. Characteristics. Definition: cost per unit of a constant level of output, volume of production per unit. Measurement: money items, classically physical outputs. Inputs: treated as variable, the aim is to reduce them, treated as constant. Outputs: constant for measurement purposes. Productivity approach: variable. Workload: efficiency approach, variable aim is to increase them. Productivity approach: constant although nature of work may change. Work organization including range of skills needed, constant for measurement purposes, variable and a primary source of productivity advance. Planning horizons: short-term cost savings, long-term capacity increases. Flexibility of output: tendency to homogeneous output, tolerates range of outputs. Accountability implications: favors internal accountability, favors external accountability. Industrial relations implications: hostile management driven and top-down, potentially cooperative. Study session summary. In the study session, we examined cost-benefit analysis and the various steps that are involved in its calculation. The social aspect of cost-benefit analysis was also explained. We also explained productivity and its full measurement, efficiency and its link with productivity. Additionally, some issues connected with productivity and efficiency, especially its connection between low external productivity in the face of high internal efficiency, was explained. The study session also examined the relationship between external productivity and cost-benefit ratio. End of study session 5. Thanks for listening.